We got the roadmap roundup here, looking real thick. It's the first one of the year, which means it's going to be a big deal. Let's see what's happening in the next 3 months for Star Citizen. Let's go. Getting started off. Happy Wednesdays, everyone. Every 2 weeks, we accompany the roadmap update with a brief explanatory note to give you insight into the decision-making that led to any changes. This is part of an effort to make our communications more transparent, more specific, and more insightful for all of you who helped to make Star Citizen and Squadron 42 possible. This is far too dramatic of a song. Let's get something a little chiller in here. Okay. With that said, let's go ahead and dive into this week's roadmap roundup. Oh boy. All right. First, the first thing listed is replication layer update. Testing continues for this important update to the Persistent Universe backend database. This release will remain fluid in returns to timing as edge cases are solved and performance is optimized. With this published, we're moving this card to the Alpha 323 column, but keep an eye on Spectrum and the tech preview channel for the latest on the replication layer. So, it's not necessarily going live. It's being pushed back from the patch we're currently in. I would say don't let this change your outlook of when the replication layer update will be in the game. It's kind of a status update, at least from what I'm seeing. Yeah. Jake is saying, literally in the chat, they're saying it'll be done when it's done. So, replication layer done when it's done makes sense. Still giving some trouble, but getting there. All right. Release view targeting release in 322 patch cycle. Gravlev Racing, introducing a new experimental mode to Arena Commander, featuring Gravlev vehicles racing through 5 new maps: the Snake Pit in reverse, Clio Islands, River's Edge, and Shifting Sands. Nice. Star map rework. Oh god. Okay, first of all, here's our update on 323 coming at the end of, slated for April 2024. So 323 coming in April 2024 actually lines up with most of their patch 1 updates, even though technically they're supposed to be end of March when we first started. That was not necessarily sustainable. The first one obviously was March 31st, but from then they're basically at the beginning of that patch that starts March 31st. So I guess April is fine. But 3.5, the next one, April 17th. After that, we go next one, April 29th. After that, next one, April 22nd. From there, April 29th. And then after that, it kind of broke down a little bit. So April is a very common month for that patch, and it sounds like that's what they're stating for this one as well. First feature to put in it is the star map rework. Grunt birthday party. Implementing the new and improved star map with improved visuals and usability, including easier search and trip planning functionality. This does not include savable waypoints. So we should wait for ISC. I did not do that. I already put out a statement saying that it looks like we're getting savable waypoints. That's not necessarily true. This could just be search, the new map, and trip planning. We'll wait till we get more details on that. mobiglas rework. Reworking the mobiglas system to use building blocks, which will also allow for easier development of mobiglas apps. This update includes reworked home maps, contract manager, and journal apps. This is also really good details to know, because for the longest time I've wondered, how will they update the mobiglas? Will they update all the apps at once? Will they update the mobiglas and then keep the old apps that were there in their styles? And it's looking like yes. Talked about this a little bit in chat the other day. The mobiglas itself will get updated its main screen. We'll get this new style that we're seeing here. And then we will get a new, where was it? Home, maps, contract manager, and journal. So home, star map, mission manager, and I'm guessing journal is Galactopedia now, maybe? I don't know if that's logs or Galactopedia. One or the other is probably journal. So personal status and messages and either logs or Galactopedia might still be getting reworked. And then there's also a shopping app they've mentioned. I don't see that on here yet. So yeah, mobiglas rework is good along with the star map. That's great freaking UI update. That's huge. FPS map system, implementing a mini map for the HUD as well as interior maps for FPS gameplay, helping players stay oriented in close quarters combat. So this, we've seen this also at CitizenCon. Maybe if we can open the video. There we go. So you see some of the new HUD stuff. Oh, that's not a good video to show it with. The new HUD stuff, you got a compass up top. You've got what they call the combat stack here on the right side, personal status on the left side, little pitch meter there. And I believe this was also, they're saying, interior maps. So this is, I'm looking at the HUD. If you want the map, this is what the new map system looks like. So they're working as well on interior maps for locations, much like this, as well as mini maps, which you'll see after you've downloaded the location. The mini map pops up on the top left-hand corner of the screen right here. So getting maps for locations, they have to mark them up, as they said, for every location specifically, but this is where it starts. This is why we start finally getting things. All right, personal and instance hangars. Creating new tech that creates an instance of the player's hangar to allow for uninterrupted management of cargo, inventory, and vehicles. Personal hangars are found at the player's home location and allow for customization and organization of the hangar interior. So, I don't know if Jake is still in chat. Is this to say that personal hangars are not instanced? Personal hangars are persistent confirmed. Where was that confirmed? Outside of this? It's a big one though. If our hangars at our home location are customizable, that's great news. Can we please get organization hangars? Please? They're the same. They are persistent. They're also persistent. Okay. Instance hangars and personal hangars are both persistent. So does that mean that, like, if I have an instanced hangar at Seraphim Station and I leave that instanced hangar, I log off, I come back 2 weeks later and I call out a hangar at Seraphim Station, it will be that same hangar? I'm just trying to understand what the terminology means, so I'm super clear when I'm telling other people. Okay, so these hangars persist, but personal hangars specifically are customizable. That's what it sounds like. Wow. Okay, that's big. Freight elevators. Implementation of systems and content for players to physically load and unload cargo to and from their ships by conveying cargo to and from hangars, landing pads, garages, and docking collars. There's so many questions that come up with these changes because now, I guess cities are going to have their inventories in the hangars. So is this it? Are we losing the inventory system in cities, or I don't know, I'm interested in seeing how this starts to transition over to everything being physicalized. It's like a middle area almost. Because I don't know if they mentioned we were going to get the kiosks. We have to have the kiosk to call this stuff, but maybe not the persistent, the subscriber item recall stuff. Probably only in hangars. They talked a little bit about how it was going to have some of your personal inventory would be there from the cities, but then you'd also have kind of kiosks in the cities near the hubs where you could get stuff too. So I'm wondering if that's not going to be a thing. It's not specifically mentioned here. This does say unload and load cargo to and from your ships. It doesn't say vehicles, but they did talk about vehicles coming in, so that'll be something to confirm. Confirmed in chat. Vehicles are cargo. So everything's changing in 3.23. We're getting a new map. We're getting persistent hangars with an actual home to customize. We're getting a mobiglas rework. We're getting freight elevators, and we're only halfway through this roadmap roundup. Let's continue. Item bank and unique item recovery. That's literally what I was just asking about. Oh, it's Christmas. Adding item bank kiosks to the persistent universe, allowing players to retrieve and store FPS items at multiple locations. So, the big old bag of unlimited holding seems to be going away with this update. This edition will also allow players to retrieve lost account-bound items such as subscriber flare. Oh my gosh, this is good stuff. This was one of those things that was like, hey, yeah, I got a referral item, cool, but I lose it and it's gone forever. What's the point of a referral item? Now you don't lose it forever. This could be how they allow us to have a full loot game and not have you lose stuff permanently. Like if you get a special weapon and you don't want to take it out because you know you're going to lose it and forever it's gone if somebody steals it, now you can be like, well, I got this special weapon or I got this special paint. I might lose it, but I can go back to this place and, you know, maybe claim it or pay money for it or something. That's where this could come from as well. It's like a little lost and found for at least account-bound items. But this coming alongside the freight elevators and persistent hangars that could be its own update. I mean, this right here, just this stuff could be its own update, and it would be one of the best updates we've ever seen in Star Citizen. This is nuts. Dynamic crosshair. Combat helmets now support the dynamic crosshair, which allows for quicker target acquisition in close quarter situations and a casualization of Star Citizen. I just threw that in there for you guys. Some people are not fans of the dynamic crosshair. I'm interested to see what it does to the game. It's only in combat helmets, which is, they've been saying they're going to start specializing armor a little bit more. If you go back to one of their oldest panels and you go and you look at what they were talking about, they had tons and tons of, here we go.
They're giving up some of their combat.
So they had combat and utilitarian sort of armors picked out here. Obviously, now that we're 5 years past this, there's a lot more kind of stuff that they can include, but they have a very distinct idea for how armor can differentiate between helmets, carrying cases, resistances, all that kind of stuff. And so one of those things, one of the ways that they're starting out with specializing that is saying, hey, combat helmets are made for combat. Oh, I skipped new missions. You're right. We got cargo missions as well. It's too much for my brain, man. Making use of the freight elevators feature, this mission type will have players hauling large quantities of cargo to earn both AUEC and reputation. Oh my god. It's like so much of this stuff that I have been like scraping at for the last 3 years to cover and talk about is actually coming to the game. What am I even gonna make videos about anymore? Things are being delivered. All right, dude, how freaking far does this go? EVA Tier 2. Improved EVA controls and animations for smoother traversal in 0G. Introduces limited EVA. What? I thought we weren't introducing limited EVA refuel. Refresh the page. Updated language. I thought you were about to be like, we added more stuffs. Updated page is updated. Improved EVA controls and animations for smoother traversal. Introduces limited EVA fuel. I thought that wasn't coming in the first patch. Encourages the use of 0G push and pull. Is that happening? One more refresh. All right. Am I guinea pigging the new refresh feature? Ah. We're fixing it in post. That was such perfect timing. Okay, later iterations will introduce limited EVA fuel and encourage the use of 0G push and pull. We got him. That's good timing. Thank you for that. All right, FPS loot screen. I love this one. This is actually one of my more favorite additions. As somebody who doesn't care about combat, I think this is one of the biggest things that keeps me away from it. Introducing a new screen for looting critical items quickly, allowing for more reliable inventory management in tense situations. Trying to play this game and like loot stuff in combat scenarios is, I don't have a word for it. But I do have a video. All right, so here is the looting screen. It's quite lovely. It's so much better to do quickly.
Okay, let's go over to divergence. So you see the player loader is on, items are on the bottom, the target is on the top. You can hover, if you hover the different widgets, you'll see a tooltip that with the different quick actions you can do. You can just simple press. Yeah, it'll be so much easier. So yeah, you can quickly press to just equip or swap. You can even use your mouse wheel if you want to change the target. You can, drop anything, store anything, just really quick actions. And you'll see in a minute that we also can trigger ammo repooling. So this will grab all available ammo, either from your target or from your inventory, and will fill up the magazines in your loadout and get rid of any empty magazines.
Yes!
So yeah.
As Gris said in chat though, this will also still be held down by the server stability. So like the UI might run well, but if the game isn't running that well, it will still be difficult. UI at least getting better is great though. All right, the new character customizer. Implementing an overhaul of the player character creator for Star Citizen, including a new user interface and additional customization options. To be quite honest, this feels like, I don't know how to say the significance of this without being hyperbolic. It feels like a full game update. That's the safest way, I think. It's not just like features coming in. This feels like sort of we've been like pumping along trying to get this game into a place, and now that we've got it to this place, we want to actually put the real systems on top of it so they work. All of these feel like replacements for, besides a couple of things, a lot of this feels just so much more, we're getting there. So here's the new customizer.
Then we blend it up or down.
So you've got the normal blending mode, and then you've also got this kind of sculpting mode that drags in features from other heads and blends them on the face in real time. A much easier system than what we have right now. So this character creator also will have a lot of like color customization, skin features, blemishes, makeup, all kinds of stuff, from beards to facial hair, freckles to dyeing. You can even specify the length at which your hair is dyed, which I think is actually really cool because I want to do I have my own thing. So it's a really in-depth character customizer, something that would be much more in line with a real AAA release, and that'll be coming in 3.23. Visor and lens HUD rework. We looked at that a little bit earlier, converting the visor and lens system to building blocks for improved performance and flexibility. It says converting it to building blocks, but it doesn't actually say the extent of the updates. There are a few different things with this visor and HUD rework. We've got mission objectives in the top right. Obviously, things have been moved around on the screen a little bit. Compass, emissions, all that kind of stuff. Now, they did say by voice this would be in the game, but I think we should wait until ISC to understand just exactly what's going to be there. Will they have, the information when you're scanning another player? Will they have the updated icons? This just says it's moving over to building blocks, so I'm not entirely sure. Distribution centers, creating new traversable areas, offering gameplay opportunities in corporate industrial environments. This initial release includes the surface levels of the facilities, with underground areas coming in a later update. So that's because we've got a combination of UGFs and administrative centers now, forming to make distribution centers, which are essentially the new centers for gameplay in the game. I'm wondering if this is a big shift for the game overall. If they're going from, we were going to make these areas, different types of areas in different places scattered around, to eventually they realize, hey, we need to have a big center of gameplay outside of cities. And that's where these guys came from over time. Here's what they look like. Here's what we'll be getting in 3.23. Oh boy, guys. I mean, like, even just... We just get some hype. Hype us up. There we go. There we go. Yes!
Yes!
I'm sorry, you don't get to celebrate this much stuff coming to Star Citizen this often. All right, so these distribution centers are kind of like generalized locations that aren't cities, which are good because now they could start just pumping stuff into there. Kind of what they were doing with UGFs, but UGFs did not offer enough space, it seemed like. So these new locations will be the UGFs without the U, as Kanik said in chat. They are going to be focused more on offering different types of gameplay in different ways. There we go. I see Shogi's getting hyped in the chat. Let's hear it. Let's see it. Got colors. There's colors are moving around. We got emotes in chat. Let's go. Let's go. 323 hype. We're starting the train right now. I'm loving it. Where's my freaking... No, anime for that kind of thing. Day. All right, let's continue. Where were we? I like Shogi. Shogi's got good vibes in chat. Dynamic event. Blockade runner. We got new dynamic events coming in. Now I can't hear. I don't know if I'm being too loud. Can't hear anything. All right, so Blockade Runner. Introducing a new dynamic event that involves a criminal faction, locking down an LEO and L1 and L2 rest stops. Players must run the blockade and purchase and sell a percentage of Quantanium before time runs out. So this is like, what episode of Star Wars is that? The first one where they're doing the whole blockade running thing? This is like if you wanted to be a cargo runner that was getting escorts and you really wanted to get into some more intense cargo running gameplay, logistics stuff. This will be great for orgs for sure. Loading in like a whole series or a C2 and getting enough defense going on. Reputation on hostility. Holy crap. Thank God we're getting this. This is a new feature to the reputation system where players will encounter AI that are either friendly or hostile based on their reputation with the organization the AI belongs to. This also includes different friendly fire thresholds and defense responses. All right, freaking biggest thing to confirm here. Does this mean that when you go and you get into a mission where there is a faction and it is a detailed mission, like Xenothreat per se, does that mean that if you have good rep with Xenothreat, they will not attack you? Does this mean that if I have good reputation with Ninetales, that they will let me help them during the blockade? Like, how far does this go? Reputation is super important. That's as an addition for progression. This is one of the most important things they could do. That was something they showed off at CitizenCon 2021, I believe. Player interaction experience is another one coming. Implementing the updated player interaction experience, a holistic array of complementary features and systems all related directly to the player. Player status, item status, environment status, as well as interactions with both the game world and the objects within it are covered under these systems. So this is actor status T2. Actually, it's not. This is not actor status T2 because this has hygiene, cybernetic limbs, cloning. We're still working towards this. This is like an actor T1.5. I'm just taking into account the player status, item status, and environment status here. The real part of this update is the interaction stuff, which is a really big deal. This is coming in 323.
Here you can see the prompts that change depending on your focus. That lets bring up the wheel. And you know, I really like my plushes, so I want to inspect them when I find them around. So I'm changing that to my primary. And you'll see that does not affect only the item they're interacting with, but any item that falls into the same category.
What we don't know, and I think probably is not the case just yet, are physical interactions that they're trying to include with this.
Let's see some of this in action. And you know, pressing buttons has never been so satisfying and fun. And you know, I just kind of like go.
Lots of opportunity for physical interactions there, but I'm not sure if that's included in this player interaction experience. I don't think it is. I think this is mainly about the UI and the functionality of how selecting works, which is fine by me. That's what matters. Last but not least, master modes. Implementing new modes to vehicles to manage their speed, components, and role-specific functions. This release introduces the nav and SCM modes as well as complete retuning of all ships. Wait a fucking minute. They want to get all of the ships updated? Is that All of them in live? We haven't even seen what they're talking about doing with the larger ships when it comes to master modes. That's interesting. That's interesting. I wonder, they're probably going to have a lot to say about this in the ISC and SCLs in between now and the patch launch. And we'll have to see how this changes over time. Because one of the biggest parts of master modes is that they are really trying to hit a midpoint. This is a feature that they introduced to us in concept more than 2 years ago, and they've been taking a lot of time to try and slowly introduce us more and more to it to get feedback. So I'm hoping that this ends up falling into a place where it works well for the game. I'm glad they're getting it into live this early so that we have multiple patches to work on it before they start settling into it fully. I mean, guys, there's not a single item in Star Citizen, or there's not a single part of the game in Star Citizen that's not getting touched by this update, is there? The map system touches everything. The mobiglas, the star map, these all touch everything. Interaction, all of it. But then if you get past that, you're looking at cargo haulers getting good stuff. You're looking at new missions coming into the game. Combat people getting good stuff. Exploration kind of stuff is going well with the visor and lens and EVA. Distribution centers are bringing new activities for group play. Blockade runner, new events. Reputation is progression for players. Master modes hits the pilots and combat folks. The loot screen is for the FPS people. Like, what? The only thing here that doesn't really make... Nope. Exploration definitely takes a step forward with the map stuff. There's nothing on FPS scanning. I'm wondering if they have to mark things up for FPS scanning as well. And so that is going to have to sit back too. We're going to be covering this a lot over the next couple of weeks and months. I will be trying to get a video out on this whole update as an early preview by this weekend. This reaction will be up as a video later, but a real polished, classic Space Tomato kind of stuff will hopefully be a good explainer for what's going on here. And, whew, yeah, this is monumental.